the Oregon Caves, the Chateau, and beyond. A voice for the caves and the historic Chateau, a message to local leaders in our community. When Sue Densmore rises to speak before a room of local community leaders, she opens with a simple challenge. Josephine County is sitting on one of its greatest treasures and hasn't yet learned to treat it that way. The Oregon Caves, she reminds the room, trace their federal protection back to 1906, when President Theodore Roosevelt signed the Antiquities Act into law, the very legislation that first recognized places like Oregon Caves as worthy of national significance. 3 years later, in 1909, President William Howard Taft made it official, proclaiming the caves a national monument and shielding them from the vandalism and deterioration that had plagued the site for decades. From there, Sue carries the room through a century of history. She speaks of the 1920s, when a group of Grants Pass businessmen, led by banker Sam Baker, look at the rise of the automobile, auto touring, and see an opportunity to build a resort worthy of the marble halls hidden in our mountains. Sam Baker turned to his own brother-in-law, a builder named Gus Liam, and together with other visionary locals, they raised the Chateau from deep inside a canyon, shaped so carefully into the landscape that it seems to grow there naturally. Sue doesn't shy away from the hard truths. The historic Chateau now carries the weight of a multi-million-dollar restoration, foundation work, life safety upgrades, and accessibility improvements, made more urgent by a cracked foundation no one saw coming. But she frames the challenge as an opportunity, too. The same building recently named to America's 11 most endangered historic places is, in her telling, poised to become a magnet for national attention, federal partners, and long overdue investment. Every hand-restored door, every meticulously repaired leather stool, every carefully matched piece of Monterey furniture is proof that true restoration is not simply rebuilding a structure, but honoring the craftsmanship, memory, and devotion of everyone who has ever loved this place enough to save it. Restoration is already underway, guided by a simple principle she puts plainly to the room. No one is going to walk into the local hardware store and replace a piece of history. She closes not with a plea, but an invitation. Tour the caves, bring a friend. Subscribe to the Friends of the Oregon Caves and Chateau newsletter at http://newsletter.friends.ocac.org and visit to view the Chateau restoration in progress. Sue also reminds us that when the historic Chateau is fully restored, our community regains a proven economic destination, one that creates jobs, drives visitor spending, and generates real, measurable revenue for the region. The Friends have spent years building the essential connections at the state and national level to make this restoration project possible, and now is the time for our local leadership and community to engage fully in the next phase of this work. The work cannot wait. The time is now. We all need to be reminded and re-engaged to protect the unique treasure we have. To enjoy the entire newsletter, be sure to subscribe at newsletter.friendsocac.org